Hi, welcome. This is Wendy Williams with Williams Educational Consultants, and I'm so excited to have Freddy Glitman with Lynn University here with us today. How are you today?
All right, Wendy, thank you so much for having me today. We always love working with Williams Educational Center. I'm excited. Hello from Boca Raton, Florida.
Yes, is it rainy?
It is pouring rain right now, but in about 5 minutes, the sun will be out and it'll look like a perfect beach weather day.
That's awesome. I miss that. I wish we had the beach like y'all have your beach. Well, tell me what's new in the world of admissions?
The better question is, what is it new in the world of admission, right? So I think we have to find the silver linings in COVID-19. And there's just so many great silver linings going on within the admission realm. Because with so many schools going test optional, whether it be for a year, 2 years, or for the rest of their time, we've seen UGA and Georgia Tech, the state school systems in Georgia, go test optional, which who would ever thought about that? And by schools going test optional, it is providing much more accessibility for students that may not have those test scores that are indicative of their potential. College representatives, we're getting to know the students much more on a personal level from their essays, their letters of recommendation. And we also understand, unless you're part of Amazon or Netflix, most likely you were impacted negatively by COVID-19, but we're seeing the resiliency within the students. I'm very proud to say that outside of one application that I read this year, nothing has been about COVID, which is
That's great.
incredible that the students could be focused on this negative, yet they're focused on the positive.
Right.
I love it. I think we're going into a new dawn of college admission for a positive.
I agree. I always said, and this is just a joke, but if the best thing that comes out of COVID is that students really open up and talk more about the positives and also really enjoy relationships and family and understand the importance of that, then that's not a bad thing. That's really positive. And then of course, being able to take out the margaritas and the drinks and the great food and bring it back home, that's also positive.
Yeah, it's interesting. Where I live in Florida, I live in Pompano Beach. I live in an apartment complex, and during our quarantine, first time in my life, I saw kids outside playing soccer and basketball. I love that. I think we're getting back the family values that unfortunately had moved away from us.
Yes, kind of a slower pace. As you can see, I'm at home filming this right now. So thank you for being at my doorstep. Tell me, I love Lynn University and have really enjoyed everything that you all provide to students. And I really think that there's a lot you all offer, a lot of different strong programs. Do you want to hit on some of those for our viewers?
Yeah, so what's very interesting about Lynn is we're not going to be the right fit for every single student, and we're okay with that. Our population is very much geared towards being a big fish in a small pond rather than a needle in a haystack. We have about 6 different colleges. So our students, we have a College of Aeronautics where they can get their private, their commercial, their instrumental. Our College of Business is our most popular one because where we are in Florida, there's no state income tax. And there's incredible tax breaks on organizations that within our local area, there's over 1,500 multinational corporations for students, which really permitted us to have about a 92% career placement. We actually acquired a university that solely focused on the creative arts, animation, graphic design. So our students actually worked on the Marvel's Endgame movie,
Mhm.
but we provide a BFA aspect with a liberal arts foundation. So we have a little bit of everything. What our president says is, I love to tour colleges during the year, and I like to say, I like this from this school, I like that from that school, and how can we make it into the Lynn University Rubik Cube?
I love it. And I think the president's done a phenomenal job. Fantastic. Talk to me a little bit about the textbooks.
Sure. So on our side, a few years ago, we noticed that students were paying about $2,000 to $3,000 on textbooks. Our president went to a conference and Apple presented there and stated, hey, we're looking to come into the educational world. So our president followed up, and we've actually been an Apple Distinguished School for a few years now. So all of our students receive an iPad Pro.
Right.
Now, what we tell students is don't come to Lynn just to get an iPad Pro.
Right.
There's cheaper options. It's the ecosystem behind it. So all of our faculty members actually wrote the iBooks. So it's not a PDF file. Our students don't purchase any textbooks. But let's say you and I are audio learners. You can highlight the passage, it'll read it back to you. Highlight the passage, make it into a note section. But at the end of the day, Wendy, you still need the quality of faculty members for this to execute correctly. And our faculty members loved it because, I mean, as we know, we're less than 2 weeks away from the election day. So every morning, some of our faculty members open up Twitter and they ask our students, hey, how do you feel about President Donald Trump's tweet this morning or Joe Biden's tweet? How does that impact not just the United States, but a global perspective? The great thing about Lynn University is even though we're in Florida, we're only about 25% from the state of Florida. So we're 75% international and out of state, that you're in a classroom of 18 students, and that might be from 10 different states, 6 different countries. You're gonna have new perspectives. So we love that just because you're in a classroom for 50 minutes, the world doesn't stop.
No, it does. And I remember visiting and having so many different nationalities surrounded. Even in the elevator, all the different languages. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me, what type of student really does well at Lynn University? Who are y'all looking for?
The non-traditional student. So let me ask you a quick question, Wendy. A recent study came out. What do you believe is the best indicator of a student's success in college? So this is a proven measurement. I'd love to know your thoughts. If I were to say, Wendy, what's one word that you believe students need to be successful in college?
One word.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It is a tough one because I want to say communication skills.
That's a great answer, but studies show that optimism is the best indicator of a student's success. And that's what we're looking for, a student that's optimistic, that has a strong work ethic. We've been test optional for about 7 years. So although the test scores are a good indicator of the student's potential, they're not an indicator of every student's potential. We're looking for students that love diversity, that love speaking up in a classroom, that love following their passions. We actually had 2 students, that small world, they're taking courses in business. They went to the gym together. They started talking about their course. They just opened up a new company, incredible. So it's toothpaste. So in the morning, you use their toothpaste and it has a little bit of caffeine to give you that kick in the morning. And at night, as you're trying to simmer down, you'll take their night toothpaste and it has melatonin. So we're looking for students that think outside the box. Our average incoming GPA is about a 3.3, but we do take into consideration every rigor of every high school. So we do not have minimum GPAs or test scores. We want to see the character of the student. And in fact, on our application, we actually adopted it this year. A great silver lining for COVID-19 is we started measuring non-cognitive skills, work ethic, drive, resiliency, grit, because a student is so much more than just a numerical statistic in our eyes.
Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I mean, at Williams Educational, working individually with each student, I really try to get them away from the grades and talk more about, you know, what's happening in the classroom, outside the classroom, the world, to really figure out who they are as an individual. So that's fantastic. How do y'all measure that?
Well, Wendy, I mean, one of the great things that we have here at Lynn University is relationships like with IECs like yourself that can really help indicate the right student. So once we can work together again, we'll show you that measurement.
Okay. Well, I'm sure it'll be sooner than, you know. Fantastic. Is there anything about the community outside of Lynn University that really draws student to the campus?
I would describe it as a wanderlust feel. We're in an incredible location and we live where people vacation. So we're right between West Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale. We're about 30 minutes north of Miami. However, having over 1,500 multinational corporations, you're bringing in individuals from all over the world just to Boca Raton. Although we're 4 miles from the beach, the opportunities are limitless here. Office Depot is about 5 minutes away from us. ADT is about 6 minutes away from us. Zimmerman Advertising, which is world renowned for their advertising graphic design, it's a block away from campus. So if you're that type of student that wants to take full advantage of the community, because you're only as successful as the community around you, not just the community that you're encompassed for the 4 years of your college, but what can that city bring? We have a great nightlife. We have great concerts. I am a big fan of hole in the wall restaurants. You're gonna have some of the best Mexican, Colombian, and Peruvian food literally minutes away from campus. But this is also an area where going from Atlanta to Boca Raton, it's about $130 pre-COVID-19, and it takes about an hour and 20 minutes. But when you fly from Miami, in an hour and 20 minutes, you can be in almost anywhere in the world, which is exciting.
It is exciting, very exciting. Did you mention the program with the masters, the 5-year program?
I haven't yet, no. So that's a great point, Wendy. I mean, not to scare any of your audience members, but on our side, we know that it takes an average student 5.5 years to graduate college, which it's incredible that there's even some statistics that are showing 8-year graduation rates. So our innovative president created about 6 or 7 years ago our 3-year degree program. This is available for every student except our BFAs, our College of Education, and our Conservatory of Music. But Lynn University is the only school in the United States. We will pay 24 credits for your students to finish early, and in their 4th year, they could potentially get their master's program. Now, when students hear this, one of the exciting things is they do not take additional courses their 1st year. We want them to become acclimated to the community, the culture, but at the end of the 1st year, they'll start taking additional courses, which Lynn University will actually cover the expenses for.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. Time saving, cost saving, just great.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask before we go, you read a lot of applications. What are you finding to be the most important factors for students to think about when writing their personal statements?
Their voice. We ask them to put their voice, to put their heart. The way that we describe it at Lynn is we hope that when we pick up your essay, we do not know it's you, Wendy. We hope it's something different outside of your extracurricular activities or your GPA. I mean, I'll give you an example, and this is something that I just read recently that I loved. I love that a student mentioned, I would love to become a doctor because ever since I've been little, my grandfather, who just passed away, would always call me doctora, which is doctor in Spanish. It's those small things that make a big difference for us, especially when you're taking aside GPAs and extracurriculars. That essay shows your heart, your character, your personality, because at the end of the day, when we offer admission, we want to make sure you're the right fit for the community, not just a numerical statistic.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for taking time this morning and sharing more about Lynn University. Before we go, I want to ask you, what do you find joyful in today's world? How do you find joy?
The silver linings right now. Yeah. It's the silver linings that maybe we moved away from a few years ago. I love that. Unfortunately, my parents are in Argentina and they've been quarantined for about 280 days. But I love that with one phone call, I can FaceTime them for hours at a time and have those connections. It's the silver linings. It's the small things. I love that I can get my running shoes, go for a quick run without having any hesitation, go call my parents, and then have some dinner with the local community. So it is those small things that to me make a big difference. But on our side, Wendy, just thank you for everything that you do with your students, advocating for them, supporting for them. We love the partnership that we have with you, that you can always tell us who's going to be that right fit for this Lynn University, but most importantly, how Lynn University can help those students achieve their definition of success. So thank you so much for always advocating for the students on your behalf.
Absolutely. You know how much I love it. Thank you. Thank you. I look forward to working with you soon, Freddie. And for my viewers, thank you for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for more and make sure you connect with me online. Have a great day. Bye,
All right,
Freddie.